Hi everyone, and welcome to Yoga with Leif. Now, in the same way that my last class was focusing more on legs and hips, this class is going to be focusing on our arms and shoulders. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Now we're gonna start in a nice comfortable sitting position. So just come to a position that you think is okay. Arms, doesn't really matter where it is. We're gonna try to find some length in our spine, sending an energy out through the top of our head. You can go ahead and close your eyes. Maybe let your chin fall a little bit down towards your chest. We're just gonna take a little moment here to collect our thoughts. Notice how we're doing today. So we're bringing our awareness and our attention inwards. And if you'd like to set an intention for today's practice, you can go ahead and do that now. Just thinking a little bit about why you're here, why you're practicing yoga. And if there's anything specifically that you'd like to focus on today. And also if you'd like to dedicate this class today, or your energy, your focus to someone or something, you can also do that now. And it's entirely allowed to dedicate the class to yourself. Maybe you need that today. So we can start to become a little bit more aware of our breathing. For those of you that are using the internal locks, the Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, you can start to connect with those now. And being aware of your breath. And for those of you that have Ujjayi breath or Ujjayi breathing, you can start to connect with that now as well. And if you're wondering about these internal locks or the Ujjayi breathing, then I have videos on my channel that go more into depth about all those things. All right, so keeping those internal locks engaged and our conscious breathing going. We're going to start to warm up our hands and our wrists a little bit. So just go ahead and start stretching the fingers and the hands, and then making some fists as well. Maybe start doing some rotations in the forearms. Okay, we're going to go ahead and shake them up. Then grab your one hand, collect all your fingers and your thumb, and then you're going to put your other hand on top of there, making sure you're covering all your fingers and your thumb, so we're not just grabbing like a little bit of our hand, but we're grabbing our whole hand. You're going to push that in towards yourself. Well, the other arm, you're kind of rotating from your shoulder here, so you're working through the whole forearm. And just a slight push, so you're not pushing hard here. There shouldn't be any discomfort, but just a little stretch in your forearm. Okay, we're going to change the sides. Other hand. And last breath. Okay, other hand, opposite way. So from here, you're gonna turn your palm facing upwards, collecting your fingers and your thumb. And then here, making sure you're grabbing your thumb. It's really common to just grab your fingers here, but you know, we're working on warming up and activating our whole, our arms and the whole area here. So you really wanna grab that thumb. You can actually go ahead and notice if there's any difference. If you let go of your thumb, see what happens, and then try to grab your thumb and then notice the difference. Last breath. And changing hands. All right, shaking out those hands. And we're gonna come up on all fours to continue warming up our hands, our arms, and our shoulders. So, coming up in tabletop, hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, thinking your pointing finger and your middle finger, your index finger and your middle finger pointing straight forward. You're gonna have a rotation in the arms, so the inside of the elbows pointing forwards here. Pulling the shoulders down into your back, feeling the internal locks are engaged. We're just gonna start leaning the weight a little bit forwards in our hands, a little bit backwards, and from side to side. So here, just noticing the sensations that you have in your hands and your arms, making sure not to go too far in either direction. We don't want any discomfort or pain here. We're just starting to warm up and noticing the weight that you have down in your hands. Okay, and we're gonna rotate the hands outwards. So from here, the fingers, right? We're going outwards and then towards us again. Now, you might not be able to rotate your hands all the way like this. Maybe you're stopping more out here. That's entirely fine. Okay, so make sure you don't have any pain or discomfort in your hands here either. So same thing, leaning a little bit from side to side. And also sending your hips backwards and forwards. All right, we're gonna sit down on our legs, shake out those hands. Okay, very nice, guys. Coming back up, tabletop. From here, we're gonna be working on some arm extensions. So without shifting the weight too much from side to side, like what we were just doing, we're gonna try to stabilize the entire body and see if you can free your right hand, and then you're gonna pick it up, extending out through the tips of your fingers. Here, we're gonna externally rotate. So from your shoulder, right, turning so that the inside of your arm is pointing upwards. Then we're gonna rotate back again and bring the hand down. Other side, so stabilizing the body, really pushing the hands and the fingers down into the mat. Then we're gonna lift up your left, rotate upwards, coming back again, and then down. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. This time I wanna see if you guys can keep this rotation in the inside of the elbows pointing forwards the whole time. So from here, okay, making sure that we're not letting the arm rotate back again. So staying forwards here, we're gonna lift up the hand, turn the palm so it's facing upwards, coming back down again, and then down. Left side, lifting up, opening, closing, coming back down. All right, very nice, guys. Hands coming a little bit further forwards for some Chaturanga Push-Ups. We're starting here today with the knees down on the mat and then pushing either the tops of your feet or the balls of your feet on the mat. You can decide. But shoulders over our hands, long spine and the neck. The internal locks are engaged. And we're gonna just start to bend the elbows, just what suits us. Okay, so don't worry about going all the way down. We're still just warming up the arms. So just a slight bend, noticing that the elbows aren't going out to the side, but we're keeping them along the sides of our body. And coming upwards. One more, coming down. And pushing up. And we're gonna come all the way down to lying down on our stomach. From here, a couple of cobras, hands beside the chest, making sure the elbows aren't here, but down along our sides. Pushing the feet down on the mat, lengthening through the top of our head. Then we're going to do a little lift. Here it's actually our back that's doing the work, so we're not pushing through our arms to lift up. We're using our back muscles to lift ourselves up. And you can test yourself here, for example, by lifting up your arms. Breathing out, coming down. 2 more. Breathe in, lifting up. Breathing out, coming down. Breathing in, lifting up. Very nice, guys. Breathing out, coming down. Pushing back up onto all fours for a little side plank, Vashisthasana. Here, your left foot out to the side, or whichever one makes sense for you, however you're doing yoga at home. It's always hard to know, what direction you're facing. If you're doing it parallel to me on the side, or if you're doing it on the, I don't know. So you'll have to just decide here what's the best foot. So one foot out to the side, then we're gonna lean over, noticing that your shoulder is directly above your hand. Yeah, so it's not further over in either direction, but straight over. So the weight is going right down into your hand, pushing the whole hand down. If you're having any trouble with pains in your wrists right now, then it could be because your hand is relaxed and you're letting all the weight of your body just go, or not all the weight of your body, but a lot of the weight of your body is just going straight down into your wrist. And that can, of course, eventually start causing some problems. There's some inflammation and pains and aches and stuff in your wrists. So to avoid that, instead of just, passively letting the weight go down into your wrist, and your wrist is of course not made for that type of weight, but your muscles are. So we want to work with our muscles and activate by then pushing the whole hand down, because now we're using our muscles, and then they can take a lot of belastning, a lot of weight. I can't think of the English word right now, but they can take a lot of work, a lot of activation for a long time. So noticing there, pushing down through the hand, shoulder over the hand, and we're not collapsing in the shoulder either, but pushing our body away from the mat. Having our knee down here, straightening out the other leg, sending your hips up towards the sky, and then we're going to stretch the other arm upwards as well. So thinking here that these fingertips are pulling you up towards the sky, and then we have this foundation, this connection to the floor down here. Okay, very nice. We're coming down, changing sides. So you have lots of time here, and if you feel like I might be going a little bit too fast, then just take it in your own tempo. If you need a little bit more time. It would be beneficial to have your device, your phone, your tablet, your laptop, computer, whatever it is, your TV that you're watching this on, and have a mouse or something available so you can like push pause or maybe watch it in a slower speed or something like that if you feel like it's going too fast. 2 more deep breaths here. And breathing out, coming back down onto all 4. Now, if you are starting to get some pain or any like irritations in your knees, you can always fold your mat double to place under your knees, or get a pillow or something like that to make it a little bit more comfortable. You can always do that in any pose that we're working on. All right, Chaturanga push-ups one more time. Now you might want to keep your knees down, or if you feel ready for it, maybe you want to come up on the balls of your feet. And in true Chaturanga fashion, when we go down in the Chaturanga push-ups, your forearms here want to be straight up, yeah? So not like leaning forwards or not leaning back. So that means not having the hands underneath your shoulders, but actually having them more around where your chest is. Noticing the fingers where they're pointing, inside the elbows, and long spine, we're pushing away from the floor, in with the core is engaged, and breathing out, coming down as far as what suits us today, breathing in, coming up. Try not to collapse in the shoulders or falling down forwards. Breathing out, coming down, right? So here we're not leaning the shoulders down, but keeping that long body. Coming back up. Last time. Breathing out, breathing in. And coming all the way down for a few more cobras. Either feet, you can decide here, but the legs need to be active. Pulling in our stomach, our abdominals, finding the length through the top of our head. Breathing in, lifting up. And out, coming down. 2 more. Breathing in, lifting up. Maybe lifting the hands. Breathing out, coming down. Last one. Breathing in, up. Breathing out, down. Okay, very nice, guys. Back up on all 4. Side plank one more time, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into it. So placing the hand, going over to the side, finding the body. From here, you can keep your knee down. It's a little bit easier. Or if you feel ready for it, you can try to straighten out that leg, then have the legs on top of each other. Other arm still pointing up towards the sky, making sure that we're not dropping our hips, but we're also pushing them upwards. Then we can move the top hand. We can start to stretch that one forwards, having the palm facing down towards the floor or towards your mat. So keeping that long line in through the whole side body. Last breath. And coming back down, changing sides. Now you can go down through here with your knees, or you can try to enter the side plank, Vashisthasana, with just having your feet and your hand on the mat. Your drishti or gaze can be down towards the floor, or if you need it for your balance. But if you don't need it, you can try to turn your head and see if your drishti or gaze can be up towards the roof. 2 more breaths. Maybe finding that long side body. And last breath. Coming back down, and a little rest here. So sitting in hero pose, or if you just like to come to another sitting position, feel free to do that. Shake out those arms. Notice how we're doing with our neck. I want to do some hand rolls here as well. Look a little bit from side to side, do some yes and no movements. All right, very nice. Coming back to plank. We're just gonna hold it here for 5 breaths. So coming up, feeling that engagement, leaning forward, noticing where the hands are, the internal rotation. And 1, 2, 3. Really feeling here, is there anything more that you can do or engage or work with? And last breath. Okay, staying here, coming down to a low plank, so forearms on the mat. Here you can have your hands together if you like. We're still pushing down, pulling the shoulders into our back. Finding that long line, and the core is engaged. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, coming back up again to plank. And 5, 4, come on, you got this. 3, 2, and 1. Very nice, lowering back down. Other hand first this time. If you remember which one you did first the first time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, coming up on the other hand first this time, and then up, and then back down for a little rest. Shaking out those arms, or just come to a nice sitting position. You can also come down into child's pose, resting the head on the floor or arms along your side. Knees you can choose here, either have them together or a little bit wider. We're gonna take a couple of breaths here, just to calm down the body and giving the arms a little rest. Last breath. All right, we're gonna come up into downward facing dog. I'll give you guys a few breaths here. So just exploring, doing what feels nice for yourself and your body here today. Okay, very nice guys. We got a couple of pike push-ups here. That means from downward facing dog, you're gonna think the top of your head is gonna move down towards your hands. So first, I think I'm in puberty or something. We're pushing away, okay? So look at my shoulders here. You know, we're not collapsing into our back, but we're pushing away as much as we can from the floor and having straight arms, okay? Instead of the elbows still pointing forwards. So on an exhale here, you're gonna start to drop the shoulders and then bend your elbows. Maybe just do a little tiny bit, and then you're gonna straighten your arms again and then push through your shoulders here as well, okay? So that's the movement. We're gonna do 2 more. So you only go as far as what feels good for you, yeah? Your head doesn't need to come all the way down between your hands, but that's where we're, the motion or the direction that we're going. So last one, breathing out and breathing in. Noticing here my elbows, right, that they go down towards the mat. They're not going out to the side. Okay, that's in that way. Coming down on your knees for a little rest. We're gonna do it one more time. So if you have your elbows out, then you can even try it for yourself. Then it's much more difficult to keep your hands down. The range of motion is a bit different, you know, and we're not able to keep that same strength in our hands. The reason that you always want to have that rotation there is that this is where you have the most range of motion in your shoulder, and we're going to have use for that for, you know, handstands and doing bridge and all kinds of other things. Versus if you have your elbows out, you can even do it and test yourself. You see what happens, that your arms are positioned differently in your shoulder, and then you're going to have less range of motion actually. So that's why we always have this instead of the elbow, the biceps pointing forward. Okay, and then we want to build up that strength in our arms and shoulders. Okay, one more time, 3 pike push-ups. Coming up, downward facing dog. Finding the pose, nice and strong, about a shoulder width between the hands, noticing the fingers, okay, everything's in place. Your knees might be bent, that's totally fine. We'd rather have straight arms and a straight back. Okay, core is engaged. getting ready. Breathing out, dropping the shoulders, bending the elbows, and straightening. 2 more, breathing out. And in. Breathing out. And in. Okay, very nice, guys. From here, we're gonna drop the elbows down towards dolphin pose. Standing here for a few breaths. Forearms down on the mat, pushing down through the arms and the hands still. Same type of work. Maybe you're bending your knees, that's fine. We're also gonna try to send the knees, straighten the knees and send the heels down towards the floor. 3 more breaths. And last breath. See if we can come back up to downward facing dog before we drop the knees and take a little rest. Or come down in a child's pose if that feels better for you now. I actually like to sit here in hero pose when I take a little rest. 3 more breaths. Taking advantage of the time here, taking as big and deep breaths as you can, allowing your body to rest and calm down. Last breath. Okay, so Bakasana, a little balance for the hands. Hands down, same position as the last time. We're gonna come up, walk our feet forwards. Now from here, we're gonna work on the first height. So bending the elbows, knees are gonna come to the outside of our arms, okay? And then you're gonna use the inside of your thighs to pull your knees inwards, okay? And then you're kind of pushing your arms out towards your knees. So there's a little activation and pressure against each other there. What we're gonna do here is gaze far forward, and then you're gonna move the weight into your hands, and then just rock a little bit back and forth. Now, if you have done Bakasana before, and you might wanna go into a full Bakasana, go ahead and do that now. One more breath. And coming back down. So either in a little squat here or just a normal sitting position. Take a couple breaths. Notice what's going on in your hands and your wrists. Is there any of that pain that we were talking about? And if there is, maybe you want to take it a little bit easy here. Skip these next couple ones and just rest your hands. It's very important that we take care of our body and listen to the signals and the messages, you know, that we're getting from our body. So if it's telling you that, oh, this is painful, then you should probably stop and rest your wrist for a little bit. But also, you know, notice the difference between pain and if something is just heavy or exhausting. Yeah, so there is that difference there. And if something is just a little bit heavy to do, hey, maybe you can see if you can push yourself a little bit further here. All right, we are working with building strength. Okay, we're gonna come up one more time. So hands coming down. This time, maybe you want to have your knees a little bit higher up, then we can place them on top of our upper arms. So leaning forwards, same kind of a thing. Core is engaged. We're pushing down through the arms. You can have bent elbows here too, if that makes sense. Maybe you want to lift up one foot as well. Maybe you want to lift up the other foot. All entirely up to you. Or just stay here and rock back and forth. One foot at a time, or if you've done Bakasana before, then you might actually want to lift up both of your feet. 2 more breaths. And coming back down. So we're going to do this one more time. Shake out your hands if that feels right. Okay, guys. 2 more breaths. This one's going to be for all the money. Are you ready? Okay, coming down with our hands, placing them, getting ready. I'm gonna go into an even deeper version. So here I'm bringing my knees up into my armpits, and then I'm gonna lean forward and then lift up both of my feet. 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4, and 5. calming down. Woohoo! All right, how did that go for you? Did you do it? All right, good job, guys. Very, very nice. We're gonna come to Navasana, to boat pose. We're gonna do a little bit of work for our core here as well. And then after Navasana, we have that reverse tabletop kind of little flow thing that we did in one of my other classes the other day. So from here, Navasana, boat pose, finding the balance on your butt, and then engaging the core, pulling your stomach and your ribs in, but we don't want to be here with a curved back, yeah? We want to find the length in our spine and out to the top of your head. Here, maybe your feet are touching. If that's what you need, you can also use your hands to help hold. But see if you can find your balance, so you can lift up your feet, and then see if you can let go of your legs. And then from here, if you can go further, absolutely not necessary, but then see if you can straighten out your knees. So we're finding length through our legs, out through your toes, and also out to the top of your head. 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bringing the feet in, crossing them, holding onto our knees, relaxing the core for just a second, taking a quick breath. We're gonna do a little lift up. So here, hands down where the weight is, yeah? So right now our weight is going down through our butt. So hands beside the hips, same position as always. Maybe your feet are on the floor, engaging the core. Here you're allowed to curve your back, but look at my shoulders. Noticing that I'm not tipping my shoulders forward, but I'm actually engaging them, keeping them pulled down into my back. Pushing down, straightening the arms, and then see if you can lift your butt up. Maybe you can lift your feet up as well. 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4. Feel free to play with your feet. Maybe lift them up. Maybe do a little, spread them out to the side, and coming back down to sitting. Very nice, guys. Just taking 2 breaths here for yourself. Maybe shake out the legs a little bit. Okay, reverse tabletop. Feet on the floor, about a hip width between. If you have a block, it's very nice to grab a block and have in between your thighs here to make sure we keep the active inside of our thighs. Hands behind us, fingertips pointing towards us. Now if you can't get your arms all the way over, right, this is that range of motion thing that I was talking about that we're working on, and building up the strength in that range of motion. If you can't get your fingers quite like this yet, then maybe you have them a little bit out to the side. Totally fine. But getting ready. So when we're coming up, our knees are gonna be roughly over our feet and shoulders roughly over our hands. So pushing down through our hands and the soles of our feet, coming up with the rest of our body. So a couple things here before we go all the way up. Noticing that we're engaging between the shoulder blades, so opening the chest, pulling the shoulders down into your spine. You're pushing through your feet and you're engaging your thighs and sending your hips upwards. Here, your neck, we want to be a little bit careful, okay? So no pains or aches. Maybe you need to hold your head up or see if you can lengthen through your spine. Or if your neck is totally okay, you might want to drop it back behind you here. So opening the heart and chest, pushing down through your feet. 2 more breaths. 4. And 5. Breathing out, coming down. Okay, we're gonna do this one more time. We'll just go up, find the pose, and then we're gonna do this little flow. So we're going up through reverse tabletop, and then we're gonna go down, like so, bringing our hips backwards, trying to keep our body above the ground the entire time. Okay, but just hang on for another little second. Continuing on your little break. Last breath. Okay, getting ready, finding the pose, breathing in, coming up. So we find the pose, and breathing out, in with the stomach, dropping the hips, sending them backwards. We're gonna try to have straight arms the whole way, keeping the inside of the elbows forwards as well, the whole way. Breathing in, back up to tabletop. Breathing out, setting the hips back. One more time. Breathing in, hips up. Breathing out, coming back. Okay, breathing in up. And then coming back down to sitting. Very nice, guys. Shaking out the hands, taking a little break. So we're gonna do a couple more push-ups here, right at the end, just for the sake of it. And then we're gonna go through a couple of stretches for our arms. So coming up, positioning the hands, finding plank pose. Now if your wrists are dying now, then again, maybe jump over this or just wait. Or you can also just do very small versions or come down in a low plank like we were working on. But we're getting ready in the pose. 3 Chaturanga Push-Ups. Breathing out and breathing in. 2 more. Breathing out and in. Last one, guys. Breathing out and in. All right. How did that go? Is it feeling good? Feel like you got to use your arms? Shaking out those wrists. We're gonna do the same as what we did in the beginning of the class. So straighten out the fingers and then making some fists. Okay, shake out those hands. And we got the same stretch as we did in the beginning. So collecting the fingers, coming over, pushing your hand slightly back. And you're rotating the arm a little bit. So if you are having some trouble with arm strength in yoga and you want to get a little bit stronger, then this is definitely a nice class that you can come back to and visit whenever you need to. It's very focused on just the arms and the shoulders. So it's a really good kind of drill here that you can always come back to. So if you do this one, say, maybe once or twice a week, then within a reasonable amount of time, depending on you, of course, and your body and your life otherwise, you will definitely be noticing a difference in your strength. Okay, other way, palm pointing up, grabbing all the fingers and coming back. And other hand. And shaking them out. So Gumokasana Arms or cow face arms. One arm is coming up, bending the elbow, thinking that your hand is coming back down where your spine is, and then your fingertips are going to follow your spine downwards while your elbow's pointing up, okay? So from here, making sure that we're not just pushing our head down forwards and making it difficult to breathe. So see if you can bring your arm backwards here without losing your ribs and the front of your torso. So still stabilizing here, elbows coming up, see if you can grab, and then you can help here by pulling your hand downwards. Last breath. And changing sides. And opening up, shaking out. We're gonna do some, just give yourself a great big hug. It's kind of a variation of the eagle arms. So arms out to the side, one arm is coming over. You're gonna grab your shoulders and then walk your fingers back towards your spine. So you're spreading your shoulder blades and then you're gonna pull your shoulders down. And see if you notice a little stretch going on in your upper back. Maybe as well you can curve your spine a little bit. So we're tilting a bit forwards and maybe go into a couple small twists here. And coming back up. Breathing in, opening the arms, and then we're going to do the opposite arm on top, and same thing, other side. Back up to sitting, shaking out those arms, coming to a nice comfortable sitting position again. Arms, they can just be wherever you'd like to have them. Length through the spine, up through the top of your head. Drishti, or gaze, is coming down in front of us, about 1.5 meters. And then closing our eyes. So we're just going to take a little moment here. moving our awareness inwards, noticing how we feel. Notice the sensations that are going on inside of our body. And if you set an intention at the beginning of the class, maybe give that a little moment now of reflection, just noticing how it went, how things felt. And giving ourselves a great big thanks for today's practice, for taking the time, for showing up, taking these minutes in your day to prioritize taking care of yourself and your body. It's a beautiful thing. And being kind to yourself, taking care of your body, is definitely something that I think you can be proud of yourself for. And bring your hands together in front of our heart, thumbs against our chest. Taking another deep breath, feeling that you're here, you're present, and you're alive. Thank you very much for today. Namaste. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me in today's practice, and hope you guys. Woo! I'm not talking to you, serious guys. If you like this class, if you got something out of it, then maybe share it with a friend. It's a great way to share yoga and the benefits of yoga with other people, and also a great way to support this channel. And I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for today. Peace, namaste, and have a fantastic day.